This is this is going to be a good one. We hear a lot of talk these days about equity, inclusion, utopia. Let's all live in this dream world where everyone is equal. Everyone is given equal opportunity. It doesn't matter how untalented you are, you will still be given numerous opportunities to fail. I hate to ruin the dream for SJWs, but there's one major problem with equity, which is the entire premise of social justice. Equity is the reason social justice cannot work. The major problem with equity, it's not real, it's a myth. Just for argument's sake, let's put this theory of equity into practice for a second. Let's assume you're a high school basketball coach. You're working at a public school in Portland, Oregon, so everything must be nice and equitable. There must be an equal amount of African American players, white players, Hispanic players. Now, notice, I didn't say which gender of basketball you were coaching. That's because you must also have an equal amount of players from each gender. There are 15 players on the roster. You're looking to fill the last slot. Your choices are the 6'3" senior point guard who's projected to be a 4-star recruit. Your other choice is a one-legged, non-binary named Papoose who goes by they-them pronouns. Now, who are you going to pick? Well, Casey, it's rather obvious. I'm picking the 4-star recruit. No, you fucking asshole. You must look at this through the lens of equity. You don't have any other one-legged, genderless papooses on the roster. Hell, you don't have another one in the country. You must pick Papoose to qualify for true social justice utopia. All right, now that was a mythical example of mythical equity in practice. Now let's get to a real life example. Bomani Jones. If there was a guide written on how to be a useless bum, it would be written by Bomani Jones. Now notice I said he would write the guide himself. If I were talking about Stephen A. Smith, he would require a ghostwriter. As you guys know, Stephen A., he struggles a bit in the writing department as well as reading comprehension. He needs to be told exactly what to say verbatim. Now, he is one of the best in the country at being a parrot and repeating what he is instructed to say. But if you were to task Stephen A. Smith with forming his own opinion, forget about it. You're fighting a losing battle. Bomani Jones is different. Every time we talk about him, I tell you guys that Bomani Jones is actually a really smart dude. He's well spoken, well educated. He got a double major from Woke U. He earned a degree in white privilege while also majoring in exotic gender roles. He is one of the few social justice warriors where I actually believe that he believes in what he's saying. That degree from Woke U is really paying off for Bomani Jones in that department. Now, even as smart as he is, not even Bomani Jones can get people to buy into the woke bullshit that he's trying to sell. I am about to prove that to you, but first, let me explain how Bomani Jones represents the flaws in the practice of equity. This dude is an embarrassing failure. Now, I gotta give him credit. Bomani Jones is not afraid to fail. Hell, this dude has failed so many times, he spends more time knocked on his ass than on his feet. Let's start in the beginning. Back in 2015, 2016, ESPN was laying the groundwork for the destruction of the network. They were looking to be more inclusive, more woke. I believe it might have been Jamel Hill who recommended Bomani Jones. I could be wrong. It might have been Dan Levitard. It was one of those useless people. Either way, someone recommended him to ESPN as one of the leading virgins in the country. Because before joining the worldwide leader in woke, Bomani Jones was unknown. No one had ever heard of him. He had already failed once or twice in local radio. ESPN, they were looking for a well-spoken virgin. They hired Bomani Jones for the job and immediately put him on ESPN radio, national radio. After he had already failed in local radio, ESPN goes out and gives him a national time slot. And Bomani Jones falls flat on his ass. He drew the lowest ratings in the history of ESPN radio. Now, normally, this would be grounds for termination, but no, not at the worldwide leader in woke. We take care of our talentless bums. Bomani Jones, he just didn't have a face for radio. He has a face for television. ESPN gives him a raise, $2 million a year, to move to TV. He co-hosted some show with Pablo Torre, another guy you've never heard of. They let them follow Stephen A. Smith, the top drawing virgin at ESPN. Bomani Jones fails again. Not only did he fail, he lost 50% of the audience that Stephen A. was just handing to him. So they moved the show to later in the afternoon, right before PTI, one of the highest rated shows on the network. Bomani Jones fails again. This dude sucked so bad, his show couldn't crack the top 150 shows on cable television. You know how bad you have to suck to fail to crack the top 150? Bomani Jones was getting beaten by reruns of ridiculousness on MTV. ESPN would have been better off airing classic WNBA games instead of Bomani Jones. Let me rephrase that. There is no such thing as a classic WNBA game. ESPN would have been better off airing reruns of WNBA games instead. This dude sucked so bad, even ESPN got tired of watching him fail. Bomani, we have tried to be equitable. We have tried to make you a star. But each time we put you on television, sewage systems across America clog from all the vomit. We're going to pawn you off on HBO. Maybe you'll do better on premium cable where ratings aren't as important. Executives at ESPN, they booked Bomani Jones a ticket on the woke bus. They didn't want to waste money on an airline ticket, so they book him a ticket on the cheese wagon instead, send him from Connecticut down to 23rd Street in New York City, and tell the executives at HBO, make this guy a star. Both ESPN and HBO, they have spent months promoting the premiere of Bomani Jones' show on HBO. Tune in Sunday night to see America's favorite failure premiere his new show, which we promise will draw a larger audience than the WNBA. Or at least we hope. We pray. We think so. God, please help this man not fail again. HBO executives, in their infinite wisdom, they decide all Bomani Jones needs is a good lead-in. Stephen A. wasn't a proper lead-in. He is loud. He is obnoxious. Bomani Jones is a soft-spoken kitten. HBO, they make the decision to place him directly after John Oliver, one of the more popular shows on the network. I like John Oliver. I don't agree with him much politically, but John Oliver's good shit. I watch him Monday mornings on YouTube, and within hours, he will already rack up 1 or 2 million views. Besides Bill Maher, you couldn't ask for a better lead-in on HBO than John Oliver. Sunday night, John Oliver draws around 665,000 viewers. Now that is an excellent number for premium cable. Now guess how many of those viewers stuck around to see Bomani Jones? You have a number in your head yet? Maybe it was 500,000. Maybe it was 400,000, 300,000. KC, there is no way it can be lower than that. He couldn't have lost more than 50% of the audience. Oh, don't be naive. You would be surprised at how drastically this useless bum can fail. No one does failure better than Bomani Jones. Now maybe you're thinking 200,000. According to Showbuzz Daily, the premiere of the latest piece of shit from Bomani Jones drew 153,000 viewers. I normally don't like to kick a man when he's down, but Bomani Jones is an avid social justice warrior, so he doesn't really qualify as a man anyway, so it's okay. Instead of calling this show Game Theory with Bomani Jones, they should call it No One Does Failure Like Bomani Jones. This is absolutely embarrassing. I don't know how this guy shows his face in public. In the television business, when you're premiering a brand new show and you have promoted it relentlessly like ESPN and HBO have done with Bomani Jones, you will normally pop A decent to big number. People are curious. Now, once the show premieres, you probably lose 8-10% of the audience for episode 2. About midway through the first season, you hope the ratings start to pick up again. You get picked up for season 2. That ain't happening with Bomani Jones. He doesn't have an audience to build on. 153,000 viewers? That represents a 0.03 share. You are more likely to find a homeless millionaire than run into someone who watched the premiere of Bomani Jones on HBO. This dude is one pathetic loser. I criticize Stephen A. Smith for being woke. I criticize Mike Wilbon, Skip Bayless, but at least they draw some semblance of an audience. I can at least have some respect for them for being somewhat relatable to someone. No one relates to Bomani Jones. He can't even get woke social justice warriors to watch him. Check out some of the shows that beat him last week. How the Universe Works on the Science Channel. Did you even know the Science Channel existed? Yeah, me either. Secrets of the Zoo on Nat Geo Wild. A replay of the State of the Union on CNN. Dude, when more people are willing to listen to boring Joe Biden lie for an hour than watch you for 30 minutes, it's time to give up. Something bit me on National Geographic. I just had an idea. I have a way for Bomani Jones to draw an audience. Have him do some cross-promotion with Something Bit Me. Maybe they can have a shark bite him in the ass. I guarantee at least 200,000 people would be willing to watch that. It is absolutely perplexing why Bomani Jones continues to be given jobs in the media. I spent about 2 hours prepping for this video trying to think of a reason for that. I can't think of one. Once this show on HBO is canceled, probably after 5 or 6 episodes, Bomani Jones, he won't need to worry about finding a job. He can always be a professor at Woke U. He can teach courses on lifelong virginity and how to be a complete failure. Well, let me know what you guys think. Bomani Jones, once again, failing. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.